Hi, ASMR folk. This is a part 2 of the ASMR video. In the previous ASMR video, I was basically talking about an old friend that I'm not really friends with anymore because he's just too much of an entitled little man-child that doesn't appreciate anything, doesn't appreciate having a good friend or anything like that at all. All he does is whine about everything while doing absolutely nothing. But anyway, the whole reason why I just don't want to be friends with him anymore is because, like, even the Swedish ball sack said that he's, like, after I talked to him about it, and he said that sounds like an entitled man-child. That's pretty spot on, folks, because just the way he is, and he's been that way. I'm not going to name any specifics because, you know, I'm just obviously not going to, like, name any specific names here because obviously I'm talking mad shit right now. And the reason why is just because it's something to talk about. But either way, he just basically does nothing all day, says he's busy, but he's really just busy playing video games all day. Like, he never wants to do anything else. He just sits around the house all day, playing video games all day, like, while he refuses to get a job. Like he's just gone his whole entire life. He's a full-fledged adult and, like, never bothered to learn how to, you know, drive a car, get his driver's license. Like, the fact that he even got his driver's permit finally, that on its own is, like, major jaw dropper to the floor. But yeah, like, he's just never bothered to learn how to drive a car because it's like, why would he? Why would he when he can just have his family and friends drive him everywhere? But yeah, that's all he ever does is just play video games all day. It's like, I like video games and TV and movies just as much as anyone else. Don't get me wrong. It's just, there's more to life than video games and TV. Okay, I like to do other things in addition to that. I like to go out. I like to play sports like basketball, football, not competitively, just like for fun. I like swimming and riding bicycles, dirt bikes, motorcycles. I like driving around and going on random adventures, going up to the woods and discovering new areas, going hiking, finding underground caverns that make me think of RuneScape. Like this one cavern that I went to like a few months ago. I've been there a few times. I think I've been there twice that I can remember. And this cavern was huge. It was an underground cave, and it seriously just made me think of something from RuneScape. It was crazy. But yeah, I like to do other things. And, like, I get that he's been this way pretty much, like, our whole lives. Like, he's been this way since the day I've known him. And the thing is, his parents never bothered to do anything about it. You know, they just gave him his video games all the time when he was a little kid, just so he can be busy with that, so they can go do their own thing. And since, you know, I can't relate to this kind of mental problem because I don't have it, so I can't really relate to it because I'm usually like, how can you handle just sitting around the house all day playing video games and watching TV? Like, how do you not get bored of just doing the same dull, repetitive thing all day? Why don't you ever want to do anything else? Because, like, he pretty much never wants to do anything else. It's, like, so incredibly rare that he ever wants to even go out of the house. The only time he ever even goes out of the house is to go to the store to get more soda or junk food or whatever, or to go to the movies that's right down the street. It's like, what's the point? What's the point in going out if you're just going to go to the movies? You already sit in your room watching TV and movies enough as it is. It's like, like, what's the difference? It's pointless. Like, you might as well just stay home and continue just doing nothing. Like, the Swedish ball sack showed me this one song that was called Busy Doing Nothing. And that just became his, like, main song. I can't stop saying it now because he's always saying he's busy all the time, but he's not actually busy. What he's saying, every time he says he's busy, basically he's just saying that he's playing video games all day. It's like, what else does he do? He doesn't do anything. He refuses to get a job. He doesn't do any chores. He just lets piles of dirty laundry and dirty dishes stack up to the ceiling in his rooms and everything. It's like, okay, sure, he vacuums the house like maybe once a month, if that. Big whoop, that takes like 20 minutes. And he does it like once a month, and it's like, okay, that takes like maybe 20 minutes. I mean, what else exactly are you going to do for the 12 hours that you're awake? You know, what are you going to do with your 12-hour day? 20 minutes to vacuum the house. What are you going to do for the other 11 hours and 40 minutes exactly? Yeah, and the part that's so screwed up, like, yeah, there's more. Like, there's always going to be more in this situation. It's like the more that, like, the further I dive into this and the more I talk about it, like, the more cringe and more screwed up it gets. But yeah, let's keep going. So basically we have this entitled, lazy little man-child who does absolutely nothing all day. He just plays video games for 12 hours a day. And it's like, okay, maybe he vacuums like once a month. So like 20 minutes out of his such busy schedule. And then he just goes back and plays video games for the other 11 hours and 40 minutes that he's awake. And then for the rest of the month at that point, he just does the same thing. Just TV and video games all day. While his mom is apparently struggling with their little family business that they have going on, which is their primary source of income, obviously. It's like, he could be working for his mom. Like, mom and son family business. I mean, who wouldn't want to be a part of that? Especially because of how lazy and incompetent he is. Most normal jobs would just toss you and hire someone else the next day. But it's like, so this would actually be the perfect opportunity for him. Because why not? He doesn't have to worry about screwing up. He can just be late all he wants, whatever. And his mom will just bitch at him for it. But it's not like what is she going to do? Fire her own son? Whatever. Because she, apparently his mom needs, a lot more help with the business and all that. Because it's just getting overwhelming. And I've tried helping out with whatever I could over time. And it's like his friend is working for his mom's company now because apparently he lost whatever job he has. So he was just like, oh, well, I need a job. So I guess, scratch my back, I'll scratch your back kind of thing. So his friend is working for his mom's company. So he's basically over there, just doing the usual office work, picking up the phone, computer stuff. And it's just, that doesn't make any sense. Why is he not doing that? It's that's all he does is sit around on the computer all day anyway. So it just seems like the perfect work from home kind of opportunity. Because he would be at home, he wouldn't have to even go anywhere. So he could just continue to sit in his room watching TV all day like he normally does, but he could also be working at least part-time to help his mom out with the business. But he won't even do that. He's the biggest piece of shit son ever. What the hell, dude? If I knew that a family member, especially one that I was living with, was struggling that much with something like that, I would help them. If someone is actively putting in the effort to try to get something done and they're struggling to get it done because they don't have any help and they need more help, they need someone to help them with this kind of thing. I would not hesitate. I would be let me help you with whatever you need help with, and I'll do the best I can. That's how I would be. If I was in that situation where I was living over there, I would help her with everything that I could possibly help her with, because that's just how I am. I'm a good friend. I'm good family. I'm a good friend. I always help out with whatever I'm able to help out with. But it's we have this lazy, incompetent, unproductive little entitled man-child over here that just refuses to do anything. He refuses to get a real job at all, even part-time. He refuses to even do any housework. His grandma moved in and out multiple times where, to do all the chores and the housework and all that, basically doing all the crap that he should be doing, but he's too lazy and pathetic to do anything. It's not like he's disabled. He's not physically disabled. He's more than capable of doing all this crap. But it's like, oh, his grandma has to come over and do all the chores for him because that's how incredibly lazy and stubborn he is. Seriously. So, after a while, when his grandma eventually moved out because she got tired of the way that she was being treated, and I can feel her pain. Like, I can feel her pain 110%. I know exactly what she's talking about because I help her out with stuff all the time. I just talked to her on the phone like a couple days ago, and we were talking about it, and she was basically all just saying like, this is how he's always been. He's not going to change. You just have to deal with it. And I'm just like, I don't want to deal with it anymore. Screw that. I want to, at the very least, if I'm going to help someone, I want to help someone out that's going to at least notice and appreciate to some degree what I'm doing for them. Because someone like that, he doesn't deserve a friend like me. I'm not trying to toot my own horn and I'm not trying to gloat and all that, but I'm just being straight up. Like, he doesn't deserve a friend like me when all I try to do is help and be productive. Like, a lot of the time, I would go over to his house. There's nothing to do. All he does is play video games all day or watch TV. So I get to the point of where I'm just bored out of my mind. So I wind up doing all the, random chores and all the housework just to be productive and to be a good friend. Because it's like, if I'm just going to sit around and there's nothing to do, then obviously I'd rather be productive and just help out and be a good friend instead of just sit around doing nothing, being bored out of my mind. So I've basically done that for years, and he never shows any appreciation. He doesn't even notice most of the time. Like, he shows like very little to like pretty much no appreciation. To really add insult to injury, he typically has the nerve to just whine about everything instead of being all like, thank you, Nick, for doing all the chores that I'm too fat and lazy and retarded and all this bullshit to do myself. He's just gonna whine about everything like an entitled little man-child and just complain about like tiny little things like this and that, like oh, I did this wrong, or oh, I misplaced this tiny little thing on accident. Because like the last time I was over there, I asked his mom, like, is there anything you need help with? And she was trying to humble me and be like, no, there's like, you don't need help with anything right now. And I was like, come on, I know there's something you need help with. You're a one-man army in this situation, doing everything yourself. I know there's something that you need help with. And she was like, okay, you can fix up the garage then. Because the garage was a total mess. You could barely walk through it. There was like maybe a little path that you can walk through. It was basically one of those kind of garages. It was so cluttered with junk everywhere and garbage that you could barely walk through it. There was like just a little pathway where you could walk through. Otherwise, like 90% of the garage was just random stuff everywhere, and it was just like a huge clusterfuck of a mess. So basically, at that time, I was drunk, and I was like, hell yeah, time to be productive. Because like when I'm drinking, I like to, doing productive things is fun for some reason. So I was like, yeah, this is going to be fun. So I just ended up throwing everything around in the garage, and next thing I know, like within 40 minutes, the whole garage is spotless. Everything is like stacked against the wall. I threw out a bunch of garbage, like empty boxes and packaging, and like, just like straight up trash pretty much. I threw all that out and organized everything, swept up the floors, and it just looked like night and day. You could actually walk all through there. You could park a car in there. It was such a drastic difference. It was amazing. And then, so basically, this is just an idea of what I do. Like, I'm always just helping out with whatever I can. And I have, like I said, I have no problem with doing all of that. I like helping out. I like being a good friend. I've done it pretty much my whole life, ever since I was a little kid. The problem is, I'm so fed up. Like, I'm not even mad. I'm just fed up because I've had to put up with this for years. And go look for another ASMR video. See you, folks.